A few people have asked me about the workaround I mentioned in the last Wings of Fire RPG devlog, so I decided to make a tutorial about it. Hey there everyone, Serge here, and I'm going to show you how to log users in with their username instead of their email in the Godot engine. It's fairly straightforward if you know how to use the REST APIs provided by Google. All links to everything relevant and a GitHub repository for this little tutorial series on intermediate Firebase Godot Tutorials will be in the description. As you can see here, we have a little Godot project that lets us sign up and log in. As a quick side note, I'll also be showing you how to handle a few, not all, of the errors that Firebase will give when using the REST APIs for the authentication system. You might want to create a similar UI or download the example scene located in the GitHub repository root folder, link in the description. Before we begin, we should make sure that we have a Firebase project created. Simply go to firebase.google.com, go to the console, and click Add Project. You can name it whatever you like for this. You should also make sure you have a real-time database instance. On the sidebar, there should be an option called Real-Time Database. Go there and click Get Started and follow the prompt. We'll start with creating 3 constants at the top of a script that I'll just name firebase.gd. In the first constant, you'll put the web API key that you can find here. Simply copy and paste that key into the quotes and you should be good to go. The next 2 constants handle the 2 authentication links that you'll need in order for this to work. Links to where you can find these 2 links, along with extra links for any other purpose that you'll need, can be found in the description. Anyways, make sure that you also append the API key to the end of the constants, as that will be pretty important in making sure that users can log in and sign up without any issues. My project's API key is stored in a different file for security reasons. If you want to know how to do this, simply store the API key in a file and make sure it's in a secure location. I have a few onReady variables that store the nodes that will be changed or read by the script. You don't have to add these, but it will help with cleaner code and improved readability. We'll start with adding in the code for the sign-up system. First, you'll want to check to see if the 2 password fields' values match. If it doesn't, let the user know about this. And if you're not doing any password validation, which I'd really recommend, you could skip this step. Now, the way we're going to let the user know of a problem is by telling them in a label at the bottom of the panel and highlighting the problematic fields red. It's important to let them know about any problems, because otherwise it can lead to a bad user experience and overall confusion. Next, we'll check to see if the user's username is already taken. To do this, we'll call the HTTP request node's request function. There are more fields to this function, but for this, we'll only need the first one. By default, it will perform a get operation, which doesn't need any of the other features of this function. We'll check to see if the result's error code is 200, or no error has happened and the process went smoothly. If it isn't, indicating an error, then we'll let the user know about it. If no errors happened, we'll check to see if the returned body is null. It's not your typical null, though. In the output, it appears as all lowercase null, but it's a string, which isn't null. So, if the body isn't null and if no errors had occurred, we'll pass on the email provided and the password into a dictionary to pass as the body for the next HTTP request we'll make. The first argument will be the endpoint for the sign-up part. Mine has the key value that I specified in the file I mentioned earlier. You can leave out that part if your constant already has your web API key in it. The second parameter should be a blank array, and the third one should be false, unless you're checking the SSL status of the endpoint, which I don't recommend. The fourth parameter needs to be http client.method_post in order for this to work properly. And finally, pass the body variable we made above this into the to_JSON function as the last argument. We'll wait for the request to be completed, then check for errors. The 3 we're going to be most concerned about is if the email exists already, the email is invalid, meaning that the email provided isn't your typical email type, and if the user's password is too weak. We'll check for them and let the user know accordingly. Once that's all done, we'll create a new dictionary that I'll call store and pass the user's email and username as separate keys. We'll cover what the dname key will be used for in a future video. For now, all you'll need to worry about is the email. Now we'll create another HTTP request. Find your database URL and append a path to it, such as users or emails. Then have the code append the username of the player, then to that append .json so it knows it's trying to reach your database. Then it's the same as before, only replace body with store, and the method needs to be http client.method_put. Afterwards, if no errors had happened, I'll just print OK to the console, as I don't have anything to do with it just yet. And that's it for the signup part. Before we get into the login part, let's take a moment to recap what I just did. I started with creating all the constants for what you'll need to get this sample to work. Then I checked to see if the two password fields that I put in both match each other, and if they don't, let the user know about it. Then we checked to see if the username already exists, then signed the user up and stored their email and username to our database. Now, onto the login part. This part's shorter, as there isn't anything big involved. We'll start with making sure the username field isn't flat out blank. To do this, we'll put the login username field's text value stripped of any white space and check to see if it's empty. You can do a similar thing in the signup part as well. In fact, let's do that right now. Now with that out of the way, let's return to the login part. We'll first grab the email associated with that username by plugging in a GET request, like shown here. We'll make sure that no errors occur before attempting to log in that user using the provided email given to us by the HTTP request. This time, we'll handle the error given to us when we incorrectly type our password, and that should be the only error given to us. Once that request completes successfully, I'll just print OK to the console. And just like that, we're done. Let's give it a quick test. And there you have it, a fully functional system where you can log in with your username instead of your email. Let me know what you think of this in the comments. Have any other tutorial suggestions? Let me know. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day or night, and I'll see you all next time.